Oh my gosh. Like, okay, so I just saw this video of so Krishan goes to church. Krishan goes to church. Maybe this is a good thing. Maybe this is a bad thing. I really don't know. Um, what I do know is that um, life is like a winding road. There isn't like one clear path, and everything is not always going to be simple. There's also a very real um there's a very real promise, a very real way of men to simply be like fathers and husbands and really just quality men in the world. And I think that we could probably pretty confidently say that like Blueface hasn't been that. And so there's another guy who's making a video that's like, I would say just, I don't even know if I would say criticizing. I would just say he's kind of discussing Krishan going to church and his personal opinions about that. And he was the big idea of his video is like, what do you do with people who are like fallen, and people who have, steered so far away from a righteous life? And he was talking about how there's people in your community who are like that, and he kept using these words. I hope she gets treatment. I hope she gets recovery. Um, if I'm not mistaken, Krishan is not suffering from a drug addiction. Right. And this guy also starts to talk about all the she had all this trauma in her life. Oh, she had all this trauma in her life. Like, I'm not really sure. I don't know how Krishan grew up, but I know in that video, and I feel like a couple other people had brought this up. She was like a pro athlete in college, and then I think she drops out of college to go on Blueface's show. Now it would take a lot to become like a pro athlete in college. So to get there, I would say there had to be, even if there was a lot of stuff that was wrong that was going on in her life, and I'm not really sure because she hasn't, or maybe I haven't listened to her talk about that. Maybe she has talked about it. I really don't know. But also there had to be a lot of stuff going right in her life for her to get that accomplishment. You can't downplay that. That means like a lot of stuff she did right. Okay, so clearly like she's not like all dumb and all, and so she was saying all of these things. Oh, I don't have any manners. Oh, I don't have this. I don't have that. And she kept going on all the shit that she doesn't have. Like, okay, but like here are the things that she does have. Like, and to be very clear, like I think Krishan's case is so interesting because like her issues are like diagnosable and solvable, but they're like, and that's another reason I feel like black female YouTubers have been so useful. Like if you go follow like I am the B with T, right, or I am a loho, oh Stefco, for Harriet, really any of these women who have been on here kind of making content talking about these social issues impacting black women. um Krishan has just got like the bucket of nigger, basically. Just like she's got the most awful toxic man who is like literally trying to ruin her, who also literally told her he wanted her to abort his child and kept going back to like his old baby mother. Like she shouldn't have to deal with those. And there's a lot of psychological trauma that comes with the torment that she's being put through. She's being put through the torment though because of Blueface. Like Blueface is the cause mostly of her like dismay. There's a like disillusionment in terms of Krishan as a person. Like I think that she needs a lot of like growth and development as a person, like as a human, and then as a woman to have more autonomy so that she can realize like First of all, when Blue, I don't know, maybe he's changed now. I feel like I've seen clips now where these people are together. Maybe they are together, maybe they're not together. I really don't know. What I saw in the past though was clear examples of like an extremely toxic relationship, and I feel like I've heard him say words that are like, "I want her to abort this child. I don't want that child with her. I don't want to be with her. I don't take this relationship with her seriously." Maybe he's grown from that and he feels a different way now. I'm not really sure. But also, if a person comes and says something like that to a woman, I think that woman has to like take that to heart and take that very seriously, and like distance herself from that male who does not have her best interest at heart. That's very real, and I feel like that's very hard, because it's like the other thing I see with Krishan, that I do think is a little like, it's not even damsel in distress, because like she's definitely not a damsel, she just seems in distress. It's like she's taken all the femininity out of her experience, and it's just like distress. It's just like a bag of emotional distress. Like, what would be useful for Krishan is to just sit in a therapist chair, probably for like 2 years. Like, she should just stop doing things and just go to therapy. Like, that would help her. But I feel like the whole point of like the Blueface and Krishan brand is for them to be problematic. Like, they're doing a lot of this shit on purpose. But maybe they're not. Maybe they are acting, maybe they're not, but it's for the clickbait. It's the views. Just to demonstrate the toxicity. It makes money. It does. It makes a lot of money, and like, I don't know. I don't ever, the weird part about the guy on the couch talking about inserting his opinion about Krishan going to church, and then actually Krishan entering the church, and then the pastor seeming to have some relationship with Krishan that stems back to her childhood. Now the problem for me lies in the fact that like all of these people forgot that she was a member of their community. Like, what now? So once her physical body is in the church again, now all of these people can recognize and acknowledge that she's a member of their community because she's standing there. And now they are coming with all of these stories about how she was loved in the past, she was this, she was that. Well, where the fuck have these people been at when she's been like legitimately struggling? The thing is, like, Krishan is an actual public figure. We know what she's going through because we see it. And so if her fucking pastor, who is supposed to be like her father, sees this and doesn't step in, he's not a father at all. He's just a nigger. That's not a community member. That's not a father. You can't just like hold a title that you don't actually demonstrate. You can't say that you are a this when you don't practice this at all. It's like me even having to battle with the fact that like I can't not call myself a writer when I'm fucking writing every day. I'm a writer. You don't have to like my writing. You could say I'm a bad writer. You don't like my writing, whatever. But if I'm fucking writing every day, I'm doing it. Now, if he claims to have some actual relationship with her and say that he loves her and has compassion for her and he sees her as a child of God, where the fuck was he at when she was struggling? That's not real, and that's not community. And I feel like that's another reason why so many people look at the black community as not serious, just completely unserious. Watching the shit go down with Krishan is a really good indication for every other community to say, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be affiliated with that. And that fucking makes sense. That makes sense. Why? Because like we see how the community reacts. We see how the community treats the people in the fucking community, and it's awful. And like nobody cares. I guess nobody really has to care. It's not like it technically isn't anyone else's like prerogative to care. But maybe just as like a kind person, like you should. Because it's like a good thing to do, you should. You don't have to, but like maybe you should. And like some things are weird, man. They're just it's weird out here. It's weird. That isn't a mentor though. That's not a role model or a friend. Like that's not what support looks like. And I think like that is the thing. And I will continue to like promote like Alicia's channel just because I appreciate it so much because she's giving words to an experience that I feel like hasn't had many words in the past. Like there is a real way that emotional support feels and the way that like being in community feels, and I don't know why it feels like it's so unavailable for black women. Like to hear the shit that like the guy who's like watching this video, and I'll put watch the video for yourself, bro. He's literally sitting here saying like, yeah, like there's somebody like this in your community. Nigga, you're watching your video. You're in the community. Like, are you trying to help, Krishan? Like, I feel like you could instantly, like, since you're consuming the content, okay, and you're like watching it and you're like analyzing it and you're claiming to be so holier than thou. What the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Nothing. Those are not children of God. They're not. They're not. They're exactly what J. Cole said. They're false prophets. They're false prophets. And it's like the pastor too. He seems like a joke. It's all a joke. This is why you could watch her come in there and everybody's making a mockery of it. It's a fucking clown parade. It's a clown parade. Everyone walks in there and they're like, oh yeah, yay. Everyone, God, church. Fuck that. Really? Like this woman literally had her baby daddy tell her to kill her baby and everybody laughed and she's losing her shit. And a lot of people are watching and I had to tune out. I had to unfollow. Well, because I don't want to see a black woman break. I don't want to see that. Like I want to see Krishan thrive. I want to see all black women thrive. Like quite literally. I really do. Because if we want to have a better society, like that has to happen. Like the black trauma porn has to stop. Like healing has to happen. And this is another reason I will continue to say I really think black women need to step away from relationships, step away from motherhood, step away from the community for a second and like find some humanity. Go to the school of life where you can just drink water and like have sunlight. Have that piece of life for a second. Because I feel like a lot of black women are missing that. We need to just be there for a second. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, shower, sleep. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, shower, sleep. Where we're at right now, that's all that we can really take. I don't think we have the capacity to like introduce more than that right now. I don't think so. I feel like as a society, there's just too much that has happened, that is happening, that we haven't been able to heal from. And we have real work to do, and like we have to do it. We have to do the work. And I mean, as black women, I think we have to do the work. We have to start now. We have to like heal now. it's so, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have like a bunch of like, yeah, I don't know. It was very weird to watch. And I don't appreciate the holier than thou people. If it is the case that Krishan is joining that church or rejoining that church to be a member of that community, what that means is that community also needs to embrace her as a member of the community and like support her. And that shouldn't be like up for debate or like this shouldn't be this like there shouldn't be this in between um there shouldn't be an in between state where she's partially supported and then partially ignored because because of convenience or something like that. Like I don't think that that makes any sense, and that it feels very like wrong to me. Um, yeah, it feels very wrong to me. I don't like that. I don't know. I wonder if you're watching my channel and you are actually keeping up with the things that are happening with Krishan. Like, what are your thoughts? What do you feel like she's supported by anyone? I don't know. I don't know. So there were some other things that the guy in the video said that she had jumped her sister or something, or she'd been recently in fights with people. Like, I've got to say, like, one thing that you learn as an adult is like when you're busy minding your own business, um, you you have very little time for like the drama of others. Like when you really like narrow down, okay, on all of the things that you personally have to take care of, have to focus on, like your job, your education, your portfolio, your art, your whatever, and you're doing that, how do you have the time to like just think about the others? Like for me personally, I really like thinking about thinking is a thing that like I do. It's like a hobby. This is why I like to watch intellectuals, watch their content, read books, do things like that that um encourage me to like think about society. Thinking about society, especially my place as a black woman in society, is interesting for me. It is. It makes me under try to understand my purpose in life. It's another reason why I feel like I would probably thrive, love to just go get like a PhD in philosophy, even though like it obviously I wouldn't like gain much monetarily from that, but I do think maybe emotionally or like um yeah, like emotionally, mentally, just for just um intellectualism really, I would gain quite a lot. I think I appreciate that. Just being an intellectual and being curious about ideas, um and just going with that is a real thing. It's a real thing. Um, and I also think it's really interesting to just compare stories from the past to examples of like society as we see it today. It's fascinating, really. Like, there's a lot happening. There's a lot. Yeah. Hmm. Well,